40 brave soldiers for Jesus, 40 brave soldiers for Christ. We'll be true to our God and stare death in the face. We'll be 40 brave soldiers for Christ. My name is Zachary Parlo. I'm representing First Baptist Church Co-op, and I will be doing 40 Brave Soldiers for Jesus by Tom Green. 1600 years ago, the pride of the Roman army, the 12th Legion, was stationed at Shebasta, just south of the Black Sea. It was midwinter, and a harsh order had just come by messenger from the capital at Constantinople. Reigning as emperor at this time was Valerius Licinius, whose vicious hate for Christianity had caused the death of untold thousands of martyrs. Snow was falling as the new emperor's orders were read to the soldiers standing at attention. "Under penalty of death," read the commander, "all members of the Roman army are to at once offer sacrifice to the emperor and acknowledge him as the one true God." No one blinked an eye. They were Roman soldiers, the most highly disciplined in the world. But every mind went immediately to the 40 among their ranks who were Christian. The same thought went through each soldier's mind. The Christians will never sacrifice to the emperor. They will not desert their God. As soon as they were dismissed, a captain came to the commander's tent and announced that there were 40 soldiers who would not offer sacrifice to the emperor. They were immediately arrested and put into the custody of Aglias, the chief jailer, who marched them off to military court. The commander opened the trial's formality by saying, "Of all the soldiers who serve the empire, none are more loved or needed by us than you. Do not turn our love and respect into hate and contempt. How important can this Jesus be? Bow down to the emperor, and this will all be over." But the leader of the 40 said firmly, "The word of God says, 'Thou shalt not have any other gods before me.' We have made our choice. We will not sacrifice to the emperor. We will devote our love to the living God." 40 brave soldiers for Jesus, 40 brave soldiers for Christ. We'll be true to our God and stare death in the face. We'll be 40 brave soldiers for Christ. Because he did not have the authority to sentence the Christians to death, the commander had to await the arrival of the inspector general, who would be making a visit to the 12th Legion in about a week. The Christians were put into custody of Aglias the jailer for that entire week. When the general came, he agreed with the commander's decision and offered the Christians a choice: worship the emperor or be delivered over to torture and death. The Christians remained firm. "You can have our armor," they said, "our names, our very lives. We have made our choice. We prefer God." Then they heard their sentence. They were to be bound with strong rope and led to the shore of the nearby frozen lake. For at sundown, they were to be stripped and marched out onto the middle of the ice. At any time, they could change their minds and go through the ritual of sacrifice to the emperor in a heated bathhouse on the lake shore. Aglias the jailer, who had been caring for the soldiers for a week, watched as the soldiers were stripped and marched shivering out onto the ice and into the darkness. Guards were posted all along the shore to make sure they did not try to escape. As they marched, they said, "40 brave soldiers for Jesus, 40 brave soldiers for Christ. We'll be true to our God and stare death in the face. Though we perish on this lake of ice, we'll be 40 brave soldiers for Christ." For a while, their voices echoed all throughout the camp. But as the hour of midnight approached, and the temperature continued to drop, their voices grew more and more weak. Then one of the 40 was seen emerging from the darkness. He was giving up. He would sacrifice to the emperor. He fell to his knees on the shore and began crawling to the bathhouse. Only Aglias the jailer was still awake to hear the thin voices of the ones on the ice shiver. 39 brave soldiers for Jesus. Aglias watched the man enter the bathhouse and emerge quickly, apparently overcome by the heat. He watched the man collapse on the shore and lie still. At that moment, something happened to the heart of Aglias the jailer. What it was, only he and God will ever know. The guards reported hearing a great cry which jerked them awake. Rubbing their eyes, they watched as Aglias the jailer wrenched off his armor and ran out onto the middle of the ice, shouting, 40 brave soldiers for Jesus, 40 brave soldiers for Christ. We'll be true to our God and stare death in the face. As we perish on this lake of ice, we'll be 40 brave soldiers for Christ.